Hey everyone, it's Amadou and welcome to ABA Africans Building Africa podcast, where I chat with inspiring African entrepreneurs who are participating to the development of Africa. Today we have a special guest, Wanjiko Muhire, a University of California Santa Cruz graduate and a former Yelp employee who started Kuza Here, an e-commerce platform for African producers to promote and sell their products. Wanjiko was born and raised in the Bay Area, yet she decided to participate to the development of Africa. She's an example of a Pan-Africanism representative. Let's get to it. Africans Building Africa, for African entrepreneurs, by African entrepreneurs, working together for the sake of Africa. Let's get to work. Wanjiko, welcome to ABA.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how'd you end up in California?
So I was actually born here in California. My mom is from Kenya. My dad is from Uganda. And so they, put us here in California, and I was born and raised in the Bay Area and Central Valley area of California as well. So I've been here all my life, but have been going back to Kenya regularly, going back to Uganda regularly since I was a kid. So I consider myself an American Kenyan.
And I appreciate you reaching out and just being part of this podcast because, again, people like yourself who were born here and also grew up here, know the importance of giving back to our community and know the importance of participating to the development of our continent. And let's talk a little bit about your business. How did you get started? And Kuza Here, where is the name coming from?
Yeah, so Kuza Here is actually a mix of Kiswahili and English. Just wanted to again draw off the fact that I was born here, but I'm still connected. So I combined, the two phrases, Kuza meaning to sell here, Kiswahili. So sell here is the idea behind the business. We wanted to at first really appeal to vendors who are on the continent, and it kind of just grew from that. We decided to not just be B2B based on advice that my dad, who himself being a businessman, passed along to me. And it just was like we were drawing advice from so many people's experiences that the company came together in a really beautiful way where it's constant participation amongst Africans and Black Americans giving advice to how we can come together.
That's amazing to see how Africans and African Americans can all work together to bring at least a business that's kind of giving back to our community back home. And also, right now, how many people do you have working with your team?
We have a team of I'll include everybody. We have 10 people. We have a photographer who is helping us out with all our social marketing. So I'll add him in there. Yeah.
Do you have vendors who are actually located in the U.S. as well as vendors who are located in Africa?
Yeah, we do actually. So our director of international sales, Jonathan Alingu, he is right now helping us bridge that gap, working with people on the continent and here. So he and I have tag team in that process. In the sense that we have people who are able to participate through shipping their box all the way here. And then we have people here in the US who are selling African products that are able to open an account and just be use us as a window to connect with, the rest of the US.
And that's one of the most important things that we, as Africans need to actually help some of our local vendors because they produce all these products, but they don't have a way to promote their products or they don't have a way to just reach a bigger target market. But again, with your platform, it definitely helps. It definitely helps with those Africans at least see what their products can reach and the potential that they have. So currently, how is your business getting funded? Do you guys have investments outside of just your team?
Yeah, actually our chief of staff, my boyfriend Garrett Graham is our fundraiser right now. He's been helping us actually stay as scrappy as we like to say as possible. So we haven't had too much outside investment have to come in thus far. We did recently pick up an investor to get our first box off the ground from Kenya. So we're really excited for that. But outside of that, I mean, we've just been keeping it at a $0 budget by just being very resourceful from what we find on the internet. And again, the advice that we're drawing from our communities on how to go about, saving money along the way.
Absolutely. So you basically would say that you guys are bootstrapping the company.
Oh yeah, by far and large. That's the way to go. We're the original MacGyvers, you feel that the people around you inspire you with how they're able to build from so little, you know? So you have to draw from that inspiration.
Right, and California is known for that. You guys have all these great companies coming out of Silicon Valley and the Bay Area, and it's amazing. And I think mentorship and also having the opportunity to just reach out to the people there and get advice from them is very valuable.
Thank you.
Right now, we actually, I'm talking to a lot of people in Africa to help at least, promote their company. So if anyone wanted to reach out to you or be a vendor, how can they be? Or is there a specific vendors that you guys are looking for?
Our team is being as open-minded as possible when it comes to the vendors that we onboard within the parameters of who we are as a company and what we stand for with our brand, which is we want people to, here in the U.S., feel like they can shop like they traveled, in the sense that, the literary force behind our slogan is that Africa is a continent worth traveling to. Africa is a continent worth spending money to pay for the goods that we have. We want the highest qualities products on the site. Therefore, if we want to convey the shop like you traveled, and it's not hard to find people who fit the bill in that regard. So we're taking in a lot of Afrocentric businesses, whether they're Black owned or African businesses here in the U.S., like I said, but we're more than interested to connect with people abroad and see, what they have to offer. I think our parameters are pretty open in the sense that we just need high resolution photos. We need, to know that you can print out shipping labels. It's really simple. So you can contact us at cruisahere@gmail.com. And we'll be in touch.
Who is your current competitor?
That's a really, really big question. I think that our current competitor is probably as large as Amazon and everything from Alibaba to Yelp. I think we're looking to move within the African Black community in such a interesting way and in a way that's not been tapped into before, just given that these major corporations go off the benefit of the doubt that we will just endlessly shop with them, not knowing that we're in a cultural desert out here. So as long as Kuza here can bring on the products, then we're diverting those funds. And I think that that's going to be seen as competition.
Well, I found a company online. It's called Kisua. They actually provide basically it's just African fashion in the US and UK and South Africa market. So would you consider them as a competitor because they focus on providing clothes as well as you do?
Yeah, I'll have to look into them more. I think that Kuza here is standing on its own 2 feet in the uniqueness of how we are also building up the site. So once we launch, we'll see how we internally differ based on the audiences that we generate and the feedback that we receive. But yeah, I'm really interested in looking them up. Can you send me their name or something?
Yeah, definitely. I will do that.
Oh, cool.
I will do that. As an American African, you were born here and you were raised here, because usually it's very rare to see someone who was actually born here and raised here be interested in Africa and be interested in helping Africa. So what made you decided to at least create a platform where Africans can go and just promote their products? What made you decide to do so?
I think it was more of trying to challenge that notion within myself, that internal conflict, right? I came to an intersectionality of understanding that my identity was so deeply rooted in being American and so deeply rooted in having a history that starts with Jomo Kenyatta as being my first president, And so I couldn't relate to a lot of things, but then in the world, I was passing as Black. So I had to learn how to navigate the US as being a Black person. But I think college really like allowed me to get on campus and kind of challenge these notions within myself and really feel like I do want to participate in what's happening on the continent, but I do like being here. And it was a pain point to understand that, like, when my parents moved, our family and everybody to Kenya in 2011, but I was here in school and I was here by myself. I mean, I was like, man, you guys took my siblings with you. You guys took the home cooked meals with you. Like, I couldn't even enjoy some ugali or every now and then. I couldn't have some tea. Like, it was hard. And so it was just like those moments, that you uncover through talking to, me and Jonathan on the phone in 2014, talking about it. It led to us kind of us taking that extra step to say, okay, so what are we going to do?
And that's amazing that at least, you took that extra step. You ask yourself, what am I going to do to participate to the development of Africa? And that's what this podcast is all about. Highlighting people like yourself who's actually doing great things and promoting Africa and at least, participating to the development of Africa. That's what we are all about. And us as Africans being outside the continent, we are the face of the change and we are the ones who can implement that change. And I really appreciate you at least doing your part and being part of that.
I appreciate that. And if you don't mind, I want to shout out the rest of my team if that's okay. If we have time. Cool. They did put in so much work. I wanted to shout out Jabari Brown, who, joined us. A lot of the team that we have is UC Santa Cruz graduates. From Jabari Brown to Jordan McClanahan, Jessica Jones, Alina Amoir, Aaron Lake, like Amrit Sidhu. Like, we have so many people who are banana slugs, with the exception of Jonathan, who's from Florida. And so, I want to also highlight the fact that, not all of us are here in California, Santa Cruz with me. I have friends. I mean, half our team is in LA. Garrett Graham also as a Santa Cruz alum. But like, we use all of the Skype, internet, Google Hangouts, Facebook to connect. And that's like the beauty in the day and age we live in.
So are you planning on expanding your business in Africa anytime soon?
Absolutely. We have an endless supply of goods on the continent, people. Like, we are in no shortage of talent and artisanship in what we can offer. And so as long as people can ship, I'm telling you, if we could open distribution centers on the continent in various countries where, people can one by one ship door to door, those are beautiful moments to start finding ways to fill the gaps to make the Pan-African economic dream kind of come into fruition. So that's where we're headed.
And you did say like one key word that kind of stood out to me, which is distribution center. And once you said that, my eyes really kind of lit up because I'm thinking, yes, this is jobs being created,
Jobs, man.
And
absolutely.
Right. And if you say distribution center, that's the main thing that really come to mind, like jobs being created and Africans having the opportunity to have jobs and just being able to support their families and their communities. That's really huge. So right now, at the moment, what kind of help do you currently need, or what are you looking for?
I think right now we're fingers crossed going to have a very smooth launch. And so we have vendors that are lined up who are going to be opening with us. We want to just see how it goes. And we're expecting like a huge turnout, honestly, because we feel like people are really excited about the idea. As we go from there, that's where we're going to start looking for more vendors and more people to, start working with on the continent and here in the US. So I think that people should just be staying tuned. People should be contacting us so that we can onboard them. But we're really looking for, people who are also interested in just investing. If you want to invest on helping us get boxes off the ground, and, help us get, as long as you can get the box off the ground and, be the way we can distribute, you're good to go. So let's do it.
So our main audience is actually African entrepreneurs looking to invest or start a business in Africa. From your experience as an entrepreneur, what advice do you give them?
I would say there are probably like three main things that I've always held closely to. So like one just being, build a team around you, so that you don't go fast, but you go far. right? You want to pick people up as you go to also complement your skill set. I think people get caught up in trying to make sure they have 100% equity, 50% equity, at least some type of equity, and they don't want to bring people on board. Bring the team. Make good friends, bring the team. My other two pieces of advice, just stay scrappy and also do a lot of research before you trust your instincts.
That's great advice. So the next moment here is called the ABA moment. And what it's all about is like a lightning round of questions where I ask you several questions, but I just want kind of like short and sweet answers so our listeners can benefit from it. So the first question is, if you were to live in one country in Africa and start a business, where would it be?
I would definitely go to Kenya. I'm going straight back to Kenya, and I would start an incubator.
If you had only 1,000 to start a business or invest in Africa, knowing what you know now, where would you invest your money?
Probably in teaching Africans how to code, like figuring out a platform to connect them with that's affordable to understand, like how to use the internet in a powerful way.
Have you read a book which had a huge impact on yourself? If so, what's the name and author of it?
I want to say that I'm reading a book right now. It's actually called Black Nationalism. It's by a professor from Nigeria. Wrote this book in 1965. His name is E.U. Isinodome. Really good read. Check it out. It's about the identity of blackness in the U.S. from also an African's perspective as he collects the info. So it's cool. It's really cool.
And one last question is, in your opinion, what is the next breakthrough idea or business opportunity in Africa?
Like I said, shipping, man. Shipping is honestly by air, by sea. I think if we just increase the export, we are going to be the smartest people in the world and the most wealthy people on the planet.
Well, Wanjiko, this conversation has been absolutely inspiring, and I give you guys props for starting a business and just for being an American, African, at least reaching out and doing great for the continent. I really wish you guys good luck, and I hope you will join us next time and tell us how your business has been successful.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. And by the way, we launched, like I said, August 21st. Please, please, please be ready to shop like you traveled. So we can bridge the gap in authentic African products. And also we're looking for vendors, like I mentioned. So again, kuzahir@gmail.com. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this, brother, so much.
Not a problem. And we appreciate you for doing the great work. Thanks everyone for listening. And please join us on the next episode where I chat with a young social entrepreneur, Henry Nakarundi from Rwanda, who was recently interviewed by CNN about his solar business, African Renewable Energy. Henry is one of those inspiring African entrepreneurs who left the US to go back to Rwanda to start a business. It's an incredible story. You don't want to miss it. If you enjoyed this episode so much, please go to iTunes and leave us a review as I read each one of them in order to improve this podcast. Thank you so much and see you on the next episode.